Hey everybody, how are you? For those of you just getting ready to join us, what's going on here? Hey, we're going to get started here, top of the hour. It's about 4 minutes away from the top of the hour. Good to have everybody here. We are going to go live actually right now, but let's see. Just trying to get used to all of this new software. Oh, let's see who's here. We got a few people jumping on. Hey, great to have everybody here. My name's Sean. Hey, Linda, how are you? Great to have you here. My name's Sean Murphy. For those of you that I have not had the chance to speak with yet, I'm an international speaker and trainer, author of 3 best-selling books, #1 best-selling books on Amazon. Not bad for a farm boy from Ohio. Tonight we're going to talk about how do we break through some limiting beliefs. How do we awaken ourselves to acquire new success? And that's really what I want to do. I'm just looking here. So we've got I see Karen, I see Linda, Richard, Elaine. How are you? And so as we get started here, top of the hour, here's the concept behind this. What can we do together? You know, all too often, speakers and trainers, they get compensated for what they do and for the information that they've created and that they share. I believe that's a valuable resource. Hey, Karen, now you can see me. Yay! Emily, great to see you. Loved our conversation today. You are just absolutely a jewel. And Linda, I keep going through my head some of the conversations I had with you and been just awesome. So here's what I want to do. I want us together as a team. I think one of the things I'm seeing in society is that we really, really are missing out on community. And I know social media and Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat and everything else. I watched Mason. We went hunting this past weekend, and I watched him on Snapchat just absolutely amazed at how him and Noah were using Snapchat to communicate and keep in touch with their friends. But no one ever had a dialogue. And I think that's what we're missing. So I'd love for us to figure out what it is we need together as a team, as a community, as a society to help each other. I feel that we're, as a community, missing that. So what I'd like to do is if you want to come on air and ask some questions, great. If you want to type your questions in the question and answer section, I think there's a chat. Let me make sure. Can you all see chat? Let's see here. So there's chat. Yeah, you're all typing to me. Oh, yeah, there we are. So if you want to type your message in a chat, and I don't know if you can mark it as a Q&A, but if you want to type a question in there, we could do that. But this is about you. One of the things I keep, and I'll just go on riffing, unless somebody types in a specific question that they'd like to get answered. Can boomers recruit millennials? Yes, they can. And you can see the chat. Awesome. Thanks, Linda. So here's a question. Emily asked, can boomers create millennials? So I have a dear friend, Andrew Hall, who's, quote, a millennial. And he says, you know the thing we hate? I said, what's that? We hate being called millennials, right? I know we're called baby boomers, or I'm a Gen X. I think I'm the start of Gen X, the end of baby boomer, 1965. So the question is yes. And it comes back to, it's not about generational. The thing that's most important is the #1 product every one of us have. Each one of you, Linda, Emily, Karen, Linda, Elaine, the one product that we all have that nobody else can duplicate, is us, right? #1 product we have is us. So that's important. But the second thing is that here's what millennials want: freedom. They think that we don't understand freedom. We bow to the man, whatever that is, the government, society. But yes, we can connect with them. One of the things that they're dying for is leadership and mentorship. They just want to be able to know. They're looking for all of the hacks. Remember, so we didn't when I was growing up. I'm 1965. I was born. So when I was growing up, we didn't have words like a hack or a hashtag or a life hack. We just did it. But now everybody's looking for shortcuts. So one of the things that we can offer millennials is a shortcut if we're allowed to have a dialogue. We can give them a shortcut if they're willing to listen to conversation. So, yeah, they don't want to join a workforce. They want to be able to be a force of good. And where else can they do that other than inside of network marketing, inside of this business of MLM? Anybody know what MLM stands for? Exactly. Me loving more. I just did an overview on biohacking and what it means today. So, Elaine, I don't know if you'd like to jump on and give some feedback on that. I can invite you as a presenter. I know we want to, I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus. Let me just put it that way. But I'd love to invite anybody on if you want to jump on and share with that, because it's important that we figure out a way that we can share our knowledge, right? And resources. Sure. Okay. So I'm going to invite you as a presenter. So you just got an invite, and evidently it'll check your screen and do whatever it does, and we'll go from there. So for those of you that don't know, Elaine Linus is a very dear friend of mine. I've known her for over a dozen years at least, and her and her husband are just amazing leaders in this industry. And we've all had our good times and our not so good times and our amazing times and not so amazing times. But she's just somebody I absolutely love and adore and admire. So we'll see here when she jumps on. Where did I see? I saw Karen overthinking and not knowing what to say. So, Karen, one of the things that we can talk about when we talk about not knowing what to say is Tony Robbins says it best. He said, and I'm sure he's not the first one to say it, but here's what he said. Let your prospect create your presentation. See, if we can understand that, let your prospect create your presentation. Our presentation is to deliver information to them that makes sense to them when it makes sense to them. See, all too often, like, I'm not even sure whose this is. I think this might be True Vision's, some energy drink and stuff. There's ingredients in here. It's amazing stuff. And I couldn't tell you what's in it. But I do tell you that if I drink it, it tastes good. But the overthinking part comes where we think we have to be smarter than them. If you realize that you have the opportunity, Elaine has joined the room. Yay. There she comes. So Karen, the thing is that if we learn to ask questions and not to be that answer every question with a question, what if we had a conversation with somebody that says, hey, listen, we're going to talk for the next 15, 20 minutes. And if we do, what would you like to get out of the conversation? And let them tell you what they'd like. So we can be prepared for what they want, as opposed to overthinking means we got to try to outthink them. Does that make sense? There's Elaine. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Awesome. Yeah, I hear you perfectly.
It took me forever. Sorry about that.
Okay. You know me. I could fill in the Grand Canyon. So tell us. You just did something, Karen. We're going to go back to yours. I got Elaine here, because I don't know. She's probably got like 15 other conference calls she's got to be on. She jumped on this to be out of the kindness of her heart to support me, and I love her for that. What's this thing about biohacking you just did today? What does hacking mean?
Well, first, Sean, hey, I always jump on when I see you doing something because I'm always learning. So this is cool. You know, for me, and again, I'm in that boomer/zoomer, I don't know where I am, but somewhere in there. And when someone talks about hacking to me, my first thing is that my brain goes to someone's hacked into my computer, somebody's hacked into my bank account. They've stolen my ID. That's what hacking means to me. And in Toronto, they just had a conference it was a 3-day conference all on biohacking and hacking your life. And I really have just been learning about this myself too, but hacking is like a shortcut to doing whatever they want to do, whether it's lifestyle things, it's health things, it's just in relationship to your family. It's how can we hack things and do them faster and shorter and better and take control ourselves of things. So, not to get into what I do, but just, in the wellness arena that I'm in, the biohacking side of it is, being able to work with your DNA and correcting certain things because you're hacking ways to do it. So it's been a real learning thing, this whole concept of biohacking and hacking lifestyles. Like I'm even with, and again, dating and aging myself, but I've got grandkids that are 18 and 21. And my 21-year-old grandson and I were talking about this today. And he's like, he said, there's got to be a way that we can hack this, that we can find a shortcut around it, that we can do it better. And so it's a term that they're using in that age group of something's got to be a hack. And it's not a derogatory term. It's not a bad thing. It's the way they look at it. The millennials are looking at it is, how can I do it better and faster?
And that's so awesome, because we do need to learn nomenclature that is specific to our audience, right? Tony Robbins said, let your prospect give you the presentation. So if I'm talking to scientists, which I do my best to not, well, you have to use certain language. But if you're talking to, quote, the younger generation, mm-hmm. in order to at least sound like you're aware of what's going on in their life, you should use their language, right?
Exactly.
Mason, right? He's 15. My son, I'll do things like there's something called dabbing or something where you do this.
Yeah.
And he just absolutely goes, "Oh God, Dad, don't do that." It's like, it's the funniest thing. So I appreciate that. So you've been successful in this industry, this profession, MLM, for many years. Mm-hmm. What are some of the hacks that you're using to have conversations with your teams, your teams, and then maybe with customers that could give some people, because I'm looking at all of the people that are on here. Most of them are in some form of wellness field, whether it be weight loss or energy or so forth. What are some of the hacks conversations you use with people?
Well, I think I'm going back to what you were talking about in the beginning, Sean, about, there's no sense of community. Nobody's talking, and you were talking about how you saw Mason with Snapchatting, and that's the world. Everybody is texting. I saw something on Facebook earlier. Somebody had a picture of a couple, a guy and a girl sat together holding hands, and they're texting. And somebody jokingly said they're probably texting each other, and that's true. Probably they were. Sad but true. So for me, I'm old school, and I still like that belly to belly. And when you can't do belly to belly these days because you're international or whatever, I live on Zoom where I can look eyeball to eyeball, and I prefer to do things that way, as opposed to just a 3-way phone call or 3-way chats on Messenger. It's let's jump on something. Let's shorten this up. Let's get on something face to face and let's talk. I find for myself that when I've got a prospect, if I can jump on and we're face to face and we can chat, grab a coffee, maybe it's at night, grab a glass of wine, and we're chatting, and we're talking business, whatever it might be, it just solves things faster than going back and forth on a call where you can't see someone, or a text that can just end up totally being misconstrued by what you say. So my hack there is all about face to face. How fast can we do it? Let's get on chat. And Facebook even is incredible now with video.
It's going to be my conversations. You want to be able to see them at least eye to eye, whether it's three-dimensional.
Yeah.
That's so important, right? We talk about speaking. I see some great speakers that are on that are in the community there, and 7% of the words we say, right? 93% is everything else: the tone, the movement, the eyes, the how we sound, how we listen. So when you're texting with somebody, you got a 93% chance of it not going the right way. Mm-hmm. I think one of the hacks, one of the things that we should take away from tonight is we can do, I see Emily saying, I love Zoom. I'm enjoying Zooming in Messenger. Yeah, that's the key. Now, the key once you get there is to give them control by asking a lot of questions. Right? People feel they're in control when they're giving a good answers as it relates to them. So I think that's critical. That's key.
Another key one, Sean, too, I just want to throw this out because a lot of people don't know, either in Messenger or in text, you can do like a voice note, a voice clip. So again, you're not just texting. They can hear in your voice, hey, wanted to send you a quick note, happy birthday, whatever it might be, instead of a text. And it's just a quick, they hear your voice.
So for those of you that don't know, let's see here. So I'm going to go into Facebook, into Messenger. So inside here, that little right there, that little microphone right there, I just took, if y'all want a picture of me, I'll take a picture of me while I'm But that little microphone right there, if you hold it down, who am I talking to, Scott? Let's see here. I'm going to hold it down. It pops up that little bar, and you can see the screen going back and forth. So now they can you can record a message that they will see, and they will at least hear your tonality, which is what Elaine is saying. It's, if we can the closer we can get the connection, the better off we are with developing the rapport. Yeah. Very cool.
Awesome.
Awesome. Elaine, anything else you'd like to add or leave with these folks, amazing folks with your years of experience? Or you got, you want to give them your nugget?
My nugget is just keep going. Every day, it's just purpose to go after something and do it with purpose. It's picking up that phone. Like for me, I've just made my list. I'm one of those people, my list for tomorrow. And I have got on here 10 personal prospect calls with purpose. So it's just not, randomly hoping I'm going to get them. It's going after and making sure that I have those connections before my head hits the pillow tomorrow night. So it's just going and doing things with purpose, and just staying on task.
So, and folks, let me give you a little background. So how many years in the profession? Is it like 20 now? What is it?
Oh, Sean, I love you. No, it's 35 plus. If Rick was here, he'd tell you to the day. But right. Yeah.
We know Rick.
Yeah.
35. Listen, folks, 35 years. A lot of us, I've got 18 years. I'm a newbie, right? And just starting to get the hang of it. But 35 years, what did you just hear? One of the hacks that is being used is that she's got her list of 10 personals for tomorrow. And I know we see it. I know we say it. We say it at events. But the key is, if you just do, right, if you do a little bit, 10 isn't a lot if you had to do 100. 10 is just every day, 1 hour, right, if you plan on being up for 10 hours. So it's just, this is somebody, 35 years of experience, millions and millions of dollars of income, hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue helping people around the world. And yet, she just shared with you, I've got my list of 10. So if you wanted to know a secret, I think that in and of itself is critical for all of us. Those little daily activities, right? Jim Rohn said, what, a handful of things will help you win?
Yeah.
Done consistently over time, and a handful of things done inconsistently or not done. Mm-hmm. So there you go.
So true. I appreciate you, Sean. Thank you for all you do for all of us.
Love you tons. Bye for now.
Bye.
So that was cool. And somewhere Scott Schilling is running around here. So I don't know if I don't see him in the list though. Where did Scotty, I don't know where you are, brother. But so that's awesome. Let's see if anybody else would like to jump on and give their nuggets. Again, this is about community. This isn't about something I'm doing or something I can do better than anybody else. I want to leverage my friends. I want you to get some information maybe you couldn't get anyplace else. So let's see here. Somebody else I'm enjoying conversation with my grandson. I have more conversations with my grandson by text than by talk. Again, Emily shared that. I want to go back to Karen. So the key to not overthinking. Don't let them think about it. See, sometimes we're thinking of what would be the best answer for them. They know the best answer for them. They do. They really do. The challenge is they don't know the after they get that answer, they don't know the action steps. So ask them, what would you think would be the best answer? And again, it takes practice. I could give you the perfect script that I would use, which there is no script I use, but some perfect dialogue questions. But if you're not comfortable with asking the question because you're too busy about selling something or moving or pushing something, and I know everybody that's on here that I've seen put in the questions, that's not you. I get that. But we also deserve the right to sell something, right? What's his name? Daniel Pink, in his book To Sell is Human, says that 1 out of 10 of us ring a cash register, right? 1 out of 10 of the population, 10% of the population actually are in true sales. The other 9 aren't, but they are. They just don't ring a cash register, right? If you've ever had to get a grandchild to go to sleep or get your kids to get up in the morning, right? I got to sell Mason every morning on getting up. We're all in sales every moment. And if you're going to sit down with a prospect, you deserve the right to be rewarded for your time. It's why I would encourage you to ask 3 questions when you sit down with a prospect. 1, ask them, do I have your permission to help? Now, this isn't like you're some guru and you're going to be able to walk on water for them. Not a chance. But you say something to the effect of, hey, listen, we're going to have a conversation for the next 15, 30 minutes, maybe an hour, maybe. In that time, I'm going to share some ideas of information that maybe I know that you don't know. How many of us would agree we don't know what we don't know? So would it be okay in the next hour if I heard there was a need in your life, would it be okay if I helped you? And they're going to say, well, yes. And here's the second part. If you're there to help them achieve a goal, to reach a new point, to reach a new weight loss, to put a new product into work, they're going to have to change the way they do things. And if they change the way they do things, it means they're going to be uncomfortable. So I ask the question, do I have your permission to make you feel just a little bit uncomfortable? Because we're going to go talk about new things, and they might make you a little uncomfortable. Maybe not. I hope that's not my desire. But if we're to change some things in life, change isn't always comfortable. Would it be okay if we have some conversations that might make you the slightest bit uncomfortable? Because if you say yes to that, now you got to get an affirmative to each of these. And the third question is if we do have this conversation and I do get to help and might make you feel a little uncomfortable, can I promise you this? Can I take you out of that uncomfortable feeling? Now you've opened up the dialogue to have just about any conversation you want to help them down their path. So I'd encourage you to not overthink it. Just ask them, how can I be of best service to you? What would look like success for you? And you'll become more comfortable about it. They're attracted, so let's see. Which way am I going? Do you feel you need to have a target market, or is it all open for anyone? No, I believe that we all have our avatars. Right, so Emily was asking this. Emily has 27 years as a hairdresser, and she's done specialty clothing for men. I wouldn't encourage you to talk to plumbers. I mean, you could. It's business owners. Now, see, there's niches inside of niches. So there's business owners, and then there's business owners that allow you to be able to have a conversation with about owning a business. But the more specific you get, I've heard it said so many different ways, so many different times, that the rich is in the niche. The tighter you get, where people truly think you have the hack. See, you have 27 years in a particular industry that I couldn't have I would not have the instant rapport or respect from seniority as you do. So I don't believe I believe target market is better than shotgun approach. Again, we're together on this live. This is me having a conversation from my perspective. I am not the sharpest knife in the drawer. My answers don't always work. So, but my answer to that is, if you're asking me and you are, in the niche, right? Narrow it down. And when you find out there's only 5 people you can talk to in that specific niche because you've narrowed it down so far, then I'd start bringing it back up. I know 5's an exaggerated number, but you get what I'm saying. That's awesome, Linda. You enjoying Zoom and Messenger. Let's see here. Who else did I see? Did I see some other questions here? If you want, there's a little round button next to where you're talking or next to where you're texting and typing. If you want, go ahead and type in there. Just mark as a request. Hey, So Josh, if you're still there, I'm putting you in, brother. No way, folks. If he's still there, and I think he is, if this guy that's coming on, oh my gosh, sold a technology company for millions of dollars. As he was getting started, found this industry, absolutely fell in love with it, has been CEOs and presidents and now has his own network marketing company. I fell in love with this guy. We met on the phone, I don't know, 8 years ago, and just absolutely brilliant. He's a genius. And I don't know if he can hear all of the wonderful things I'm saying about him. Maybe not. But love this guy to death if he's going to make it on. So we'll see here. With Webinar Jam, you got to go through some technologies and stuff and get caught up. Let's see here. That's why I'm attracted to them. So, here he is, folks. This is going to be cool. I'm excited. See, I had no idea when I did the video earlier today where it says, when you come to the landing page, it says, I'm going to invite some of my friends because you deserve more. I had no idea. Funny what happens when you put an intention in the world, right, Emily? Because you were saying about mentors showing up. I'm like a little school. There he is. Peace, brother.
What's up, brother?
So I don't know if you. So I was telling people about just some amazing success in the trajectory of ups and not so ups that you've had in life, and we met 7 years ago or something like that now, and just it's absolutely amazing to watch what you've done. So I'm just honored to be here. What you got to share, brother?
Well, first off, I have to correct you. We met in 2007.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I love people who know all of the. I'm like, seems like yes. I mean, it seems like we've known each other for life, for one thing.
We met in San Diego in 2007.
Wow. Okay.
A particular company.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's a whole nother. So listen, this whole idea and concept was to bring people together, create community, give people some access to things maybe they can't have. I know a lot of people are going to an amazing event with Eric at GoPro, and some people are, maybe I can get there one day, maybe I can't. So I'm not having a Go Mini here, but I just figured let's have a conversation. So what do you got to share?
Well, you know, your title caught my attention. So what was that title?
So
it got me.
Yeah, what did I say? Limiting breakthrough. Let's break through some limiting belief.
Limiting beliefs. Yeah, let's break through some limiting beliefs. So, man, I showed up to have a breakthrough.
Well, again,
I've already been reminded, and you know, I mean, it's so funny how many things that we learn when we get started in this industry and probably do right because we're new and we don't know any better, and over time, you know, conveniently forget because you're talking about hacking. You know, I mean, how many of us have tried to find the easiest flipping way to build a team in network marketing? I mean, we're trying to hack like crazy every day, right?
Yeah. So what you're doing something now that's pretty amazing with your company. You kind of stepped into the role of okay, somebody's got to drive the ship. What are some of the things that you're doing that everybody that's on here is trying to drive their own ship? What are some of the things that you need to do to either create community? I mean, what do you want to talk about? I know there's so many topics. If I could throw anything out at you, but what's that thing that you're right now?
Yeah, you know, it's so interesting, Sean, because you know I'm in a different role again now. I'm CEO of the company instead of being a distributor, and I started in this industry with the concept and love of the idea of having no employees, no overhead, and no inventory. And, now launching products and got employees, overhead, and inventory again, but some amazing partners as well. So it's really funny, the phase that I'm in right now where when you own a company in network marketing, and especially when you've been a distributor, you're always a distributor. You're always a representative. You're always talking to people and building, but you're also running a company, and it's a unique perspective because it almost puts me in the situation where I've got a day job and then I'm still building a business at night, just like most of the people that will probably watch this video. Even though I'm doing it for the same company, it does give you that perspective of, I've got this task or this list of things I've got to do all day long, but then I still need to go help my teams and help my people, build a business at nighttime, right? And I think one of the things that I think is so important, and especially with this whole concept of breaking down limiting beliefs, I think a lot of us get into a situation in life where we think we don't have time. We don't have enough time. And, I catch myself and I hear people all the time saying, I didn't have time to do that, or I don't have time for that. And, a while back, I was introduced to a guy and we wrote a book together. I've never really, it's published, but I've never really put it out there. And at some point I need to do that because I think it has some good little nuggets in it. But it really, the concept of time ownership instead of time management is really something that I've dug in on the last, I'd say 4 to 5 years in a really hardcore way, and understanding that I control my day, no one else, and I think this really hurts and or helps a lot of people, especially in the network marketing space, because if we come from a situation where we have a job, we know what we have to do in our job to keep getting paid. I mean, it's clear, it's evident, right? And we know what we have to avoid doing to avoid getting fired, right? And so when it comes to network marketing, owning our own business and truly now being the CEO, the chief executive officer of our own life, it's difficult for a lot of people, and even successful people. And you've seen this too, Sean. How many business owners have you seen come into network marketing and fail?
A bunch, more than you would like to say. Experience would allow.
Yeah. And I think, part of time ownership also is building expectations. And this is where I think what I loved about the concept of your title of, breaking down limiting beliefs, right? I think so many of us, and I know, I came into network marketing. Scott coming on here with us?
He's finally, I had sent him, we had done a demo link before, and now he's coming in live. So
I'm going to finish this point real fast and let you guys knock it out. But with breaking down limiting beliefs, I think so many people look at our industry and either give up or create an excuse around why they can't do this, instead of really figuring out why they can, and more importantly, why they should. And you said something important at the beginning where you're talking about, writing down goals and, defining your dreams. I think there's way too little in the world today, and too few people that really have the guts to put something on paper, and then find a vehicle and go and run for it. When you were talking about the ups and downs I've had in my life, financially, whether it was divorce or, companies failing or owners quitting on us, or, whatever it is, you've had them as well. The list goes on and on. But at the end of the day, I can decide every day to give into that and, have that really be my reality, or I can decide to completely change my reality. And the difference between, 2 points is just time, how much time is it going to take me to go from this point to this point, right? But again, the problem for most people is they're here and they're too afraid to define here, this other point that they want to run to. And if you can get over that part in your life, if you can define, hey, it's okay, but I really want to go here, and you will write that down, and then you can figure out how to collapse time and get from here to here. And that's what I love about network marketing. I really believe that for people that will define this other point that they want to run to in their life, and they'll use this vehicle to collapse time and space basically to get there, It really is amazing the outcome that you can create in network marketing, unlike any business I've ever found. I mean, I've got a huge bakery in Salt Lake City. We do 50,000 donuts a day. We've got, 90 employees. I swore I'd never have a traditional business again after finding network marketing, because I didn't want to deal with employees, overhead, and inventory. And, there's no funner business to be in than the donut business. I promise you, it's pretty amazing if you like sugar. And I have an affinity for sugar. So I got to take my ketones so I can stay away, so I can make up for the sugar I ate. So, but with that being said, traditional business is fun, but any business has trials, has problems that you're going to run into. Every business has a difficulty. And what I believe and what I've learned through mentors like yourself, Sean, and through, people that I've surrounded myself with, is it's not the trials, that we're going to run it. We're all going to run into those trials. It's how we overcome those trials that's really going to define us. We're always going to run into tough times, tough things. I've had years where I'm making millions of dollars and just crushing it. And the next year you can't make $100,000, and you're just like, okay, I suck. What am I going to do now? But if I let that define who I am and where I'm going to be the next year, and I let that limiting belief define me and where I'm going to be, I'm sunk. And so many people, have you ever heard this? And I'm going to shut up because I want to hear what Scott has to say. This guy's good. I'm an amateur, so I'll get out of the way. I'm the pre-entertainment guys. I'm just warming up the stage for the real pros right now. But
it's being recorded.
Yeah, hey, I'm telling the truth. So, but if you really think about limiting beliefs, right, and the things that we put on ourselves, and the funny thing is I got into the habit a couple of years ago of anytime I had those limiting beliefs come across my head, like let's say if a limiting belief came on of like, you're too old, or you're too slow, or all of those beliefs, that self-talk that we have come through. I read a book, and I don't remember which one it was, but I committed myself to start asking the question, is that true? Right? And if it is true, okay, there's nothing I can do about it, right? So just put it aside. So maybe it is true. Cool, put it aside, right? If it's not true, and what I found was that over 90% of my self-talk, over 90%, and I'm someone that's had pretty decent success in business, and I still have I found that over 90% of my self-talk was not true.
Folks, I let that sink in for just a second. That one little thing, ask that question, is that true? And this is somebody who spent a lot of money on personal development, is around some amazing people, and still, it's such a valid statistic. It's a real statistic for all of us, right? 90% of what we fear is not feared at all. But if we ask, is it true? All of a sudden, the brain, if we activate the prefrontal cortex, it stops the amygdala from firing off, and the hippocampus, and all of that science stuff that says all of a sudden we go into fight or flight. But what happens is what they do in negotiation. Chris Voss in his book said How to Negotiate Everything and Not Lose says we have to ask questions. And that one simple question, activating the prefrontal cortex that Josh just told us to do, and he's learned to do, forces the brain to say two things. It's either going to kill me or the pattern. Well, if it's not going to kill me if I'm asking questions, so now I can decide whether it's a pattern or not. And now you become conscious of your thought. How freaking cool is that?
So I want to hear what Scott has to say now. I'm gonna jump off, but
one more thing. When Josh was saying about the 2 points, this is what we do as in this industry. We're gap crossers. We teach people either how to close that gap or jump the gap or do something with that gap. And here's the reality. When people show up to us that we've been talking to for 5 and 10 and 15 years, and they go, I'm ready to get started, it's because life said, it's enough. Life will always be the day you've had enough. It's either the day you decide to close the gap or the Gap friggin' slams into you in a T-bone at 90 miles an hour and your life's a wreck and you go, I got nothing else to do. I'd encourage you to do what Josh just was saying. Ask, is that true? And watch that gap close almost instantly.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. Where are you? Are you in Arkansas? Or are you out in California?
No, we're in Utah. We've been out. We've got, this bakery's just blowing up. We started it out of nothing with my cousin years ago. Brick and mortar investment.
Really? Because you just
we're doing about 50,000 donuts a day now, and all kinds of. Just landed a big deal with Kroger's, and they asked us if we could ship to every Kroger store in America, and we said no, we're not big enough. So we're starting, with 200 stores with one of their brands.
If we ever get to Salt Lake, what's the name of the donut shop?
Well, so the store, we only have 3 stores, but if you go to any Mavericks gas station or Smith's grocery store, we do all the donuts.
Really?
500 and something stores now and growing. So it's pretty exciting. But it's cool. It is what's cool, relevant for anybody that's out there is, the money that we made to invest in this and start it came from network marketing. So, it's amazing in network marketing that a kid with 6 credits in college dropped out to start an internet company. Everybody said, don't do that. Internet's a fad back in 94. And, could go from that to owning other businesses, consulting with other businesses, even outside of network marketing. And then now, of course, with our health initiative, we have back in network marketing. It's amazing what's happening. So, but it's cool, guys. For all of you out there, I'm 45, almost 45 years old, and running 3 companies at the same time, and feel like a kid again. Super fun.
So check out Josh. Find him on Facebook. Just absolutely amazing. His messages are incredible. I love him to death. He's a friend and a mentor to me. So, brother, thanks for jumping on. I appreciate it.
Hey, I had to fill in for a real superstar. He's on now, so I'm gonna vacate. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. See you, man.
Thanks.
Oh my gosh. So Scott, we had our little practice session earlier, and then I all of a sudden I got Elaine Linus jumped on, and then Josh jumped on, and then I guess you were on the practice link before. So I'm glad you're here.
I was there. I've been there the whole time.
I know you were. So I'm going through. So folks, what did you pick up from that? I'd ask you to write down in the chat from that conversation with Elaine or with Josh. What'd you learn? What'd you like from that? Because these comments will roll in the replay, and it's a great place to kind of store some notes. So if you do have some more questions, through. In my current work, I'm with contractors of various people I would feel comfortable to speak to. Absolutely. Talk to them about time freedom. You just heard Josh talk about employees and overhead, right? The reason that he can afford that, didn't want that, but it was because the network marketing allowed him to buy into that. I'm just looking here. Certainly a different discipline.
I want to add something real quick just on what I picked up on.
Let me do an intro. Scott Schilling, business partner of mine, dear friend, mentor to me. We're family friends. I actually have a shotgun here. Took it hunting. Got my bird this weekend. 2,500 people.
Like,
how many person stage presentation? 2,500.
2,500.
Okay.
Yep.
And these are on-stage live presentations, not 2,500 meetings he's been to. These are ones where he was spread in front of the room. Over 25 million in sales from your product line from the front of the stage, right? Company did over 100, but you did 25 million.
100 million a year. We grew it to 100 million a year.
So when I say all of that, this is what this gentleman does. He understands the power of sales, and we've been traveling parallel universes together for many years. And then all of a sudden we wound up one day just kind of meeting up, and it's like we knew each other for 1,000 years. So we do a lot of things together. You see that behind him, U+1. It's a community that we started of just wanting to make a difference, starting with one. So many people want to take care of thousands and millions. We said, let's just start with just one. So there's my good friend, Scott. I'll go ahead and share. And if anybody else would like to pop on, come into a help seat, click, there's a little hand down at the other, speak requests. I'll click in and we'll go from there. And if you got questions, put them in the chat area. We'll go from there.
Yeah, I just wanted to, it's always great to see Josh, and he's such a stud, from that. But one thing that he said, and I'm not sure people recognized it, and if they did, great, and if they didn't, I'm going to reiterate it. Here's a guy who's been phenomenally successful and has, in traditional business, in network marketing, or across a variety of different things, as he said, made millions of dollars some years and 100,000 the next. And I mean, just the breadth. And he said that with all humility. But he also said 90% of the time, his self-talk was probably not favorable. And when you start to think about that, that's a nice way of putting it. The fact is, when somebody with that much success recognizes that their self-talk isn't favorable, what do you think, quote unquote, the general population is like? No, not being judgmental at all in that statement. The fact of the matter is, I said it in a live that I did earlier today. I've written checks to 19 mentors across my career. Well, why would you do something like that? Wasn't one good enough? Well, one was good enough in a certain area with a certain piece of expertise, but there were 18 more in 18 other areas, or complementary, or whatever. And the reason you do that is because you want to avoid that self-talk. Yeah, I mean, you want to do everything you can to gain as much of that wisdom from others and knowledge and everything that's available to you. But isn't it amazing that here's a guy who tremendously successful and very learned, and still makes that point? Again, don't want to belabor that. The point really is, it happens to everybody. At some point in time, you question what's going on. So if you question what's going on, the quality of your life really is dictated by the quality of your questions. Go ahead and question. Just create better questions.
Answer better questions. That's what my mentor would always say. And here's the thing.
Right. And
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that he started asking a better question, and all of a sudden those answers started popping up for him. And they have for you and I too. I mean, when we came up with U+1 was really a matter of, we both have stated goals of serving the masses, and we just got frustrated and said, but damn it, nobody wants to start with just one. And then we said, why don't we? So we all of a sudden ask a better question, right?
Who else is going to do this, right? Hey, so Alan, Bridget, and Kathy, and Richard, welcome. Great to have you all here. So if you do have questions, this is open. This isn't to be a monologue of me and Scott and any other leader coming on, sharing or asking questions. If you want to jump into a help seat, right, click you want to speak, and I'll invite you in, and you get to ask your questions. It takes some courage, right? So Elaine, when I asked her, she said, well, okay, sure. Now, this is somebody 35 years who does this. Now, I knew Josh. If Josh was around, he'd do it, because we're like brothers, and I just love him to death. So that was pretty cool. But if you do want to jump in and ask questions, I'd love for you to do that. But if you have other questions, type them in the chat room, and then there's a little button, little circle next to it. You can ask you can click in that, and it turns it into a question. It's reassuring to show that negative self-talk is universal. It is. And here's why. Who said that? Was that Emily? Yes, Emily said that. So I don't know if you all know this. Shad Helmstetter has a great book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. I'm a certified self-talk instructor, licensed by Dr. Shad Helmstetter, went through his course and training, so I'm a certified instructor in self-talk. And my self-talk still isn't better than 89%. But doesn't 1% make a difference? It's huge. So Dr. Shadhelm-Stern, that's a great book. What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. You can get it on Amazon for like $5 in paperback use. Great book. Let's see here. And Time Ownership, Not Management.
Just to go on to that one more step, one of my mentors taught me, and it's something that I now teach consistently.
By the way,
It's really,
one of Scott's mentors was Jack Canfield.
well, this might happen to be him that I'm talking about, but basically what he shared with me, and I've shared since, is that it's not what anybody says to you that counts. It's what you say to you after after they stop talking. So what this really goes to,
it's not what they say to you, it's what you say to you after they stop talking.
exactly. So if I said to you, Sean, you've got green hair, you'd go, well, I know I don't have green hair. So he just knows that I have great self-esteem. He can take a little shot at me, a little jab. We can have a little fun. It's no big deal. Or you could have said, oh my God, I've got green hair. What am I doing? Did something not work right? Oh, I'm the dredge of the earth. So it wasn't what I said to you that counted. It's what you said to you. And so the point, and again, it plays back into this self-talk piece, isn't it interesting? Because the foundation of that teaching is that it's not possible for anybody to reject you. Rejection only rests within one place, you. Nobody can reject you. You have to give yourself the opportunity to reject yourself. Blaming them, which doesn't actually work. But the fact of the matter is, nobody can reject you. Eleanor Roosevelt said, nobody can make me inferior without my consent. So the point is, everything that Josh was talking about with self-talk goes to this rejection piece as well. So again, in one of the other things that we teach a lot and very grateful to have learned along the way, if I'm not dancing and I'm in one of these Texas honky tonks and I go over to a pretty girl and ask her to dance and she says, no, I wasn't dancing. I'm still not dancing. My life didn't get worse. It might not have gotten better, but it didn't get worse. Well, it's the exact same thing in this self-talk piece. If I ask you to get involved, or, hey, Sean, would you take a look? I'm really excited about this product or this company that I'm working with, and it's done some great things for me. I don't know if it'll work for you, but will you give me a few minutes of your time to talk to you about it? And you say, no, I hate those pyramid things. Well, we haven't even talked about it yet. I mean, that's on you. That's not on me. But it's only if, oh my God, he thinks I'm in a pyramid, and I start doing it to myself, right?
Well,
I hurt my own.
Saying, you said, it's not what they say about you, it's what you say about you after they stop talking. I mean, folks, we've known each other for years, and I've never heard that. And I've listened to hours and hours and hundreds of hours of training we've done together. That has never come out. That's powerful. So 90% of what we say isn't true, or is that we find out most of it's a lie or not true. Right. And it's the conversation that we say to ourselves after they stop talking.
Yeah, and then so most of it's not true to begin with, and then we validate it by our comments on it. If we would just say, oh, that's nice, thank you for your opinion. I said this to somebody the other day. They said, I don't really think that'll work. I said, that's wonderful, but quite frankly, your opinion of the situation does not deter me. And they kind of looked at me and I said, I'm not, you're entitled to your opinion, but I don't have to accept your opinion. I believe this is really awesome. So again, it wasn't what they said. It's what I said afterwards. And like I say, Josh is brilliant and made a great statement there.
Well, let's not give him easy. He just typed in. This reminds me of the saying, "I am." Two of the most powerful words. What you put after them shapes your reality.
Well, I am as a command statement that you're loading your brain with. It's an actionable process. So the fact is, but how many people do that to themselves? I'm so stupid. I can't believe I did that.
Or what do you want to eat? I don't know. And we say this, I don't anyway. So that's a whole nother. We'll talk more about that. Let me share with you folks. So talking about breaking some of the limiting beliefs. All of these limiting beliefs, Josh said it, 90% of, ask the question, is that true? And it comes out 90% of it's not. Where did the 90% come from that if we didn't ask the question would have been true? It's called pattern. And the pattern that happened, right? We look at children. We say that children are geniuses. Babies are geniuses. Up until age 5 or 6 when we send them to school and we beat it the hell out of them. We start to put them into programming. The brain looks for two things. Is it a pattern or will it kill me? Right? When plates crash at dinner and all of a sudden we all go like this, instantly your brain looked and listened and heard all of that and heard that noise and tried to reference thousands and thousands and thousands of audio files, instantly going, sounds like dishes, could be dishes, sounds like a lot of dishes. I never heard dishes break in the back of this kitchen, but I'm assuming I'm at a restaurant, and your brain went through all of this in the blink of an eye. So this concept of before you're going to go have a conversation at 14,000 words a minute, I'm giving you all of these stats so that here's the thing. If we understand that there is a formula that can change, we can change the formula. We can break the pattern. This isn't you were born poor. This is you were born with a poor mindset. This isn't that you don't understand the products. It's that you've learned that products are important or the ingredients are more important than the solution. The way you break your patterns is you start writing. You start writing down the things you want. I am this, right? Bob Proctor says when we write goals, we should say on or before. We shouldn't limit the universe to bringing us success. So part of this process of breaking these I am blessed. I am profound. I am talented. I am creative. I am forgiven. Ooh, why don't we all say that real quick? I got the chills. I am forgiven. How many of our lives would change if we feel that we were forgiven? Who do we need forgiveness from? Maybe we need
ourselves mostly.
Yeah, don't we need to start with ourselves?
We're so much harder on ourselves than most other people are on us.
We have this approval, which is what Josh was talking about. So the problem is, here's the challenge. They did this study. There wasn't actually a study, but they had this orphanage in Czech, somewhere in the Czech Republic after a war, where all of these babies went. And they had these nurses, and all they did was go feed them. They didn't touch them. They didn't pick them up. They didn't hug them. We all know that babies can die from crib death. We are social beings. We need to be around people. The challenge is we're trying to be around people who don't want what we got. So get a new group. I know it's easy to say, but goodness gracious, we got 7 billion people right now. I don't know. I'm in Canada. We're in Texas. We're in Utah. We're all sitting in our house, but yet there's this community of people. I'm going to encourage you. Start off with your I am. Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe Dispenza, author of some amazing books. He comes out every time in one of his whenever he does a live presentation, says, how many of you believe your thoughts can influence your day? And of course, everybody raises their hand. How many of you created the thoughts you want to influence your day? So the brain is working. We are dream pharmacists. I have that website, by the way. Can't forget that. We are dream pharmacists. And I probably didn't spell it right. Stop laughing. Now I know why Scott was laughing. But
it's a big word.
If we know that a placebo is stronger than the most powerful morphine, means we can heal thyself. Why not financier, finance thyself? Dream giver, dream thyself. Why not? You don't need me to give you the power. You have the power. The question is will you use it? I believe my faith. I was raised Catholic. There's a being more powerful than us. But when I was taught in Catholic school that God's gift to us is more talent and energy and resources than we could ever use. Our gift back to Him is to use as much of it as we can. What are you holding back?
You know, it's about being as efficient with those talents and capabilities and doing everything. And I just looked up at what Josh said. It's phenomenal how like minds work to share very similar information. You know, as kids, we were there's studies that say we hear yes about 4 to 10 times a day, and we hear no 452 times a day. So we wonder why we've created this negative self-talk or negative, or we respond with no, or we don't take action, things like that. We're so ingrained with what has happened. I feel very fortunate to have played football at the University of Iowa for Coach Hayden Fry.
Go Hawks!
Because go Hawks. That's right. Still no Hawk fans in the crowd. Dang. Anyway, the fact is to play for a man like that who not only cared enough to kick your butt, but he cared enough to encourage the good and, you know, great progress, or you did this right, or you did that. It wasn't just the lashings will continue until the morale improves. It was truly a wonderful place, which is such a great, you know, it just brings back such great memories. You think about people who, no, all of us have 100% of the capability, the talent, everything we need. We all have it. What we do desire from time to time is somebody who steps alongside with us and gives us that encouragement to go forward. And if that's all we ever do as coaches or as speakers or as trainers, is to encourage people to step into their greatness. The reality is somebody believed in me along the way, and that gave me an opportunity. Somebody believed in you along the way, and that gave you opportunity. Believe in somebody. Now, you might as well start with believing in yourself, because you're infinitely talented and capable. Now, the fact that you're on this webinar at all says that you've got a burning desire to have greater success, or you wouldn't be here. So whether it's the presenters wanting to be here to present and share and help, or you being the audience listening, I mean, pretty sure Josh could have gone and started making the donuts, you know, but he's still here. But I think maybe he probably should go be making the donuts. You know, I love the fact that he casually said, yeah, we just turned down Kroger. You know, I mean, it's like, well, la-ti-da. No, it's awesome, man, to be able to be in that position, but to know your capabilities, right? He said, we can grow to it. It's not right today, but we can grow to it. Well, that's the way everybody who's watching this can be. Wherever you are today is the point of demarcation. I said it in training earlier this week. Today's activity does not determine today's volume. Today's volume was determined by what was done 30, 60, 90 days ago. Today's activity determines what will happen 30, 60, 90 days from now. The fact that you came on this webinar and you got this information tonight, and you heard from the genius of Sean G. Murphy and Josh Higginbottom and some other folks that have been on here. The fact is, today is a point of demarcation to then take you to where you want to go. Wherever you are is exactly perfect. You're exactly in the right place, because as Sean said, it's these gaps. Yet maybe today is the day where you go, by God, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm going to do something about it. Or maybe it's, this was pretty good, but I'll wait until next week's webinar to see if I'm going to do something about it.
So, Scott, I got to share with you. when Josh was talking, I read Josh's note about IM. He said, I had no idea Scott had that sitting right next to him. Wow, I just got the chills. I told you Scott was the man. And then he said, book, I'm going to read Power of Words by Kevin Hall. He talked about Genshai, Genshai. You should never treat yourself or another person in a manner that makes one feel small. I mean, folks, this was pretty amazing to come on here and have this. Yeah, Emily, just do it. Emily says, I got a lot to share. Got to stop hiding it under the basket. We're basket destroyers around here, Emily. So,
yeah, again, I appreciate the opportunity of being on just because it's always fun to share. And
as we still got some folks here, and people, you can jump off whatever you want to do. Keyword yourself. Exactly, yourself or somebody else. If you got questions or what'd you learn, what'd you like from this conversation, we're going to do this most Tuesdays. I got it set up for 3 right now because most people hit or miss, and I know it's the holidays, but it's not the holidays. It's see, if we use the holidays as the reason not to go do something, what did we just do? We just gapped ourselves. Holidays shouldn't keep us from taking care of our families, shouldn't keep us from taking care of ourselves, shouldn't keep us from living our dreams. I don't think the calendar December was made for us to all put everything on hold. As far as I know, I still got light bills, right? I still got to pay for the light bill. Right? So all that said, if you've got some more questions, we'll keep going. We'll keep doing. If not, an hour is usually as long as most people can. I'm done gapping. There you go. You're just going to be a gap jumper, Linda. I appreciate you all. I'm so grateful for you. You make the world a better place. My goal in life, my mission statement is to be a better dad, better husband. One of the ways I get to do that is by putting smiles in this world. Having people like Elaine and Scott and Joshua jump onto this call, they just make me feel. You know what it's like to have when your friends show up and they go, well, we're in this with you, right? Those are the people that if I was in a hole, they would jump right in with me, and I go, "What did you do? We can't get out." And you know what they tell me is, I was in this hole last week. I can get out. I know the way. That's what friends. Hey, Greg, how are you? And Greg mentioned something earlier. I think it was Greg saying. Was it Greg saying I'm learning from Josh, but it's taken me a while? Great to have you all here. No, it was Richard. I'm learning from Josh every chance I get. I'm just a slow learner. You're getting better. Scott, when you were reinventing, doing something new, changing something new, what are the keys that you focus on? Where do you start? What's most important? That's from Josh.
Great questions, Josh. I think the first thing is, whether it's Stephen Covey, Begin with the End in Mind, Tony Robbins, Know Your Outcome, Jack Canfield, Start with a Vision. You've got to start with the future and where you want to be. There's probably one of the things in one of my books I talk about is positive discontent. And positive discontent is meaning being unabashedly grateful for where you are in your life, but ready for more. It's that next place, right? So it came to reinvent yourself. I mean, as a speaker, oh my God, any speaker has had to reinvent themselves multiple times because the industry has changed through the economies. So you got to understand what you really want to accomplish, what's really important to you. Design out where you want to be. And then I think one of the beauties of reinvention, I think many times, not all the time, but many times, people start their careers or start their paths doing it for mostly their reasons, but sometimes for other people's reasons. And so all of a sudden something happens where they have an opportunity to reinvent themselves. Now, right when the reinvention point happens might not look that way. But the fact is, all of a sudden, they've got the opportunity to really do what puts them on purpose, what fills them with passion, what gets them excited to do this. So I think a big part of reinventing, you first have to understand what you want to achieve. Because if what you were doing wasn't working, chances are you're not where you wanted to be. So the first thing you have to do is focus on where you want to be. The second thing is then start restructuring your activities. Actually, I do a talk called Dare to Dream, and dream is really that 5-step process. Decide on the future. The R stands for restructure your activities. Execute the plan is the E. So whatever you come up with as the way to do that. The A in dream stands for analyze your results. You're going to be off course far more than you're ever on course. And the M in dream is modify and re-implement again. So the fact is, when we're going through and having to reinvent ourselves, we've got to look out to the future. We've got to take our activities and align them with that success. You look at somebody like Josh, who's been tremendously successful, and you model those activities. You look at somebody like Sean, who's been tremendously successful, and you model those activities. It's about taking, the old saying, success leaves clues. You don't, at this point in time, you don't have to recreate the wheel. The wheel's been created, but it rolls much easier on the edge than laying flat. So pick it up, right? I mean, use the wheel in a different way, and then execute. And the last, where do you start? You start wherever you start. You probably start by getting sick and tired of being sick and tired. In the reinvention. But again, I think you've got to decide on your future. You've got to restructure those activities. You've got to do the things that are in alignment with those who have succeeded before you in that task. Then go ahead and execute that plan. Do it. Look at the results. Get the feedback. See what you're, Sean does it so well with these. What'd you like? What'd you learn? Well, that's really what analyzing every situation is. What'd you like? What'd you learn? We used to, after every one of our events, and we did 2 events a day, 5 days a week, but the team would we'd ask ourselves 2 questions. What did we do well? What could we do better? So we first acknowledged what worked, and we also acknowledged if we could make a tweak. And then again, just keep on modifying, working. If you have the opportunity to tie yourself into a mentor that can help you get on that path, that would be one of the first things I would do. There's a pretty good book that says seek out wise counsel. So hopefully those give you some idea there, Josh. I think you can, the fact is we can all accomplish far more than we ever give ourselves credit for.
So I'm going to leave you with this. Tonight when you go to bed, journal. If you're not journaling, start journaling. I'd ask you to work on these 3 things. Just what Scott was finishing up with. I write my journal every night. What did I do well? Who do I need to connect with to achieve my dreams and goals? What resource, talent, or skill do I need to have come into my life tomorrow that I can get better? Because when you go to sleep, whether it be 4 hours, like I sleep, and Josh maybe up to 4 hours now, maybe more, but however many hours you sleep, your brain is going to go through the circadian cycle and do what it does and get into the deep sleep, right? And it's only there for about 45 minutes, and then it comes back up and does all this stuff. Scott, where can people buy your books? Which one do you recommend first? You'll get put it in put the website in the chat box, Scott. So I'd encourage you. What did you do well? Be grateful for yourself, because if you believe there's a voice inside of you that says, "I need to be more, do more, have more," and it keeps getting squashed by fear and doubt, right? My mentor would say, "Fear and doubt knocked on the home of faith and courage. Faith and courage opened the door, and no one was there." So in order to build your own courage, be grateful for the things you have. Be grateful for the things you did. Write them down. Make them law in your own life. So what'd you do well? What talent do you need, or contact do you need? What talent, resource, or skill do you need to get better at tomorrow, because I promise you, I ask it so you aren't self-promoting. Okay? I got 3 books too. I'm teasing. I'm saying it to Josh. Listen, this is what friends do. This is what community is. We need to. This is why I started. I had no idea. I told Scott. I said, I hope you show up. I had no idea.
And then he locked me out. Then he locked me out.
You know, got to knock twice. So, anyways, I love you all. Share this. Share the links for this for next Tuesday if you've gotten some Talking with Giants. Yeah, that's a great book. Share this if you think there was some value here. Bring your team. I let them ask questions, right? My mentor always said, you're never a prophet in your own land. I just love spending some time with y'all. I get to do this. Don't have to, get to. So I appreciate y'all tons. Love you even more. And Scott, any last words before we let them go to their new fired up, passionate lives?
No, I'm excited for everybody that was on here, and Josh, thanks for being nice to me. I greatly appreciate that. We need to reconnect, and so I can promote you more, because that's actually my job, is to promote Sean and his 3 books that you can get at Amazon. Mom and Dadpreneurs by Sean G. Murphy. Make sure that you get that. The Daily Difference, and
what's the other one? Life Defining Moments.
Life Defining Moments.
Hey, Scott, I appreciate you. And Josh, love you. Elaine, thank you for doing what you did. She had to jump off. Linda, I think you guys live 15 minutes apart from each other. That was kind of cool. Talk about small world. I love you tons. I'm Sean Murphy along with Scott Schilling, and we'll see you where?
At the next event.
Till then, thanks, everybody. Bye for now.
Bye.